It is another 30 minutes of power filled investor and growth hacking advice. I have got an amazing friend, a great growth hacker, a phenomenal investor, and a man who knows. And so, if the name of the game, what we are talking about, is how do we build unicorns? How do we take a company which has an incredible product, which has the ability to grow to be 5 million, 10 million, 30 million, $50 million a month in revenue? How do we take that company from its seed at the very beginning to becoming this beautiful tree, which is going to flourish into something incredible in the future? And that's what we're talking about today. And so when we go through this call here today, remember, as always, ask questions. We got you. It is 30 minutes. We're going to hit it really hard to make sure that we get as much from you as we possibly can. And I want you walking away at the end of the call, whether it's from me, whether it's from Pranay, whether it's from just the stuff that you've realized yourself, that you walk away with an actionable insight that sends you into today growing faster. So other than being my friend, Ash's friend, great investor, great growth hacker, Pranay, can you just do a little bit of an intro for yourself so the folks know your greatness?
Thank you, Brian and Ash, for having me on this Dojo Live. Excited to, and looking forward to have this wonderful conversation. A little bit about myself. So I bootstrapped my first company called Vedic Tech. It's a tech consulting company in 2010. Back then, I was like 24, 25 years old. That's when I started this company. Over the years, I've helped companies like Red Bull, Disney, Zynga, Network 18, ENY build some innovative tech solutions. So my expertise is about understanding business problem, designing, developing digital products around those problems, and then launch those products and then scale those products to 1 to 10 and 10 to 100. That's my passion, and this is what I'm obsessed about. Right? 3 years back, I started doing active investments, and that's why I also created a fund called Real Time Angel Fund, which is a network of angels, of about 1,000 angels on the platform, and help about 80 companies raise funds from that platform. And yeah, I'm here and looking forward to help a lot of entrepreneurs with my insights on helping founders raising smart capital. We've been me and Ash and Brian has been talking a lot about how founders can leverage options in raising smart capital, because we are not in the era now of post-COVID where everybody was raising capital very easily. I see that a lot of founders are struggling, and we are here to unlock those hacks for you all here.
Beautiful. What's the biggest thing you've learned? So if you're going to say number one, biggest, best thing you learn as far as growing a company from early stage, not even to late stage, but to mid stage, right at that beginning part when things are really tough, what is it?
I think about building the right team, having the right people on your side is the most critical part, right? Whether it's about having the right clients, the team members, having, the people around in the ecosystem, your chartered accountant, your accountant, having those right people who believe in you and who can understand all your crazy stuff that you're trying to do. I think that's what is required, right? And I think this is the critical part for any founder to solve, right? Having the right founding team with you.
Mate, look, I want to actually, I think this is so important. Let's stick on it for a moment. So when we talk about having the best team, we're talking about like, how do we make sure that we fill the gaps at each stage, right? And the gaps at the beginning, I know my particular skills are business development, communication, and vision, I would say, aggressive outreach and just helping, build great stuff. I know my weaknesses are in the area of logistics, in the area of process, in the area of pursuit. Like they're my weaknesses. I know I'm not good at those. The problem is, unless somebody steps in to fill the gap of those weaknesses, it doesn't matter how good I am at the other things. It really doesn't matter. And in some ways, venture capital masks this, because what happens is someone like me, who's very good at the areas that I'm involved in, is able to raise money. And because I'm able to raise money, I feel very successful. But all it's doing is it's masking a greater problem. I sometimes think of it as makeup on top of blemishes or spots that you have. Like, it's a great masking for a period of time, but it always sticks with you inside your head. You always know there's a time that you're going to have to deal with the thing that you are most trying to cover up. And a lot of founders don't actually get to that. And so there is no doubt in my mind. Look, everybody here, there's just two stages. And I want to ask Pranay actually in a second. I want to dig into, like, how do you get really good people at the beginning when you're poor, right? I think it's easier, or let's say it's a different problem when you get a little bit later in stage, but in the early stage when you're very poor, it's very, very hard to get people. But I will say this: there is, as just before we answer this question, there are different phases that you go through. At the beginning phase, the types of people that you are going to get are going to be different from when the later stage, when you have money and you have power and people can see the company is growing. Like, at the beginning, it's just your word. So how do you get those people to join you? Let's do the first stage first, when you have nothing except a vision, and you don't have the money to pay them what they deserve. So what types of people do you get? And then where do you look for those people? And then how do you change that then as your company moves into its more mature stage?
Absolutely. I think it's a great question, Brian. See that I mean, it's a lot complex than it sounds, that having the right people in the founding team, and that's why I said that this is the most critical part of any startup. The founders, the most critical part any founder have to solve in the team, right? Building the right team. Now the thing is that you need two type of people in a founding team, right? One is that, of course, you need some people who have prior experience in executing specific things, right, related to your startup or the product that you're building, right, or the
Yeah.
company that you're building, right? These people could be your co-founders who just, oh wow, you have a great background now.
You know, you inspired me, by the way. You inspired me because I'm like, if Pranay's going to go au natural, I'm going to go au natural too. But then I thought I'd layer in this piece of the jungle that we are inside all of the time. So yes,
Nice.
as you were.
Yeah. So I was saying that, yeah, so you need people who have already gone through that road, who have solved certain problems earlier, similar to what you're solving. Maybe not exactly same, but similar kind of things, like hiring people, setting up the company structure. Maybe they're raising the first capital, or maybe bringing the first customer. Like, you need to find people who can solve some problems which you might not be able to solve by yourself, but with their experience and expertise in that area, you can uh, you can like speed up your journey, right? You can accelerate some part of it, otherwise it will take a lot of time for you as a founder to just solve that, right? Now you can get it in two ways. One is that you can bring some angel investor on board, having the similar kind of expertise in the domain or something like that. They can help you bring customers, or maybe solve some supply chain problem or something. Right, you need to find that strategic people, right? Maybe the board of advisors you can bring on the table, because you can't pay them a lot. Like, you can pay them $10,000, $20,000, whatever their salary, right? So you need to find those people, bring them on board as consultant, or maybe advisors on some equity, ESOP, whatever. The another kind of people that you need in a startup is great, young execution focused team, right? Could be interns, founder office, people, coders, developers, product managers. These are the people who you need to see that their execution and their intent and their interest and passion for learning has to be huge, right? Because when you are building a startup, it is inevitable that you will make mistakes, right? You will have to learn and find ways to do things in a better way. But what you need is like faster execution. If your execution is slow, then it is sure that you're gonna be left behind, or your runway will get over things like that will happen. So you need people with the right intent, with the right energy, very focused, dedicated people who can do things faster for you. Even if they may make mistakes, that's fine. They don't have a lot of experience. So that experience is being filled by your advisors, your consultant, your virtual CTO, your virtual CPO, or whoever is this person. And then you bring a young dynamic execution team, and this is the kind of team that you have to build, especially at the start, a very early stage, like a pre-seed or seed stage, so that you can solve those kind of things, because you can't pay and for that level of experience and expertise, but you can't miss that also. So
Yeah.
I think this is the kind of thing, and having those right people, then you can get right advisors, and then you can help these people grow also, right? The young and dynamic team grow, that sort of thing. And when you raise rounds, that's where that you have to write. So I think what is critical in this whole thing is that both these kind of people, you have to tell them your dream, why they will join you, right? You have to tell them like what is in it for them. They might not visualize like what exactly is there for them. You have to be a good storyteller. You can't just say, okay, I'm building this, we will see if it will work or not, and things like that. But you need to be optimistic about what you are building. You need to educate them. You need to really make them bring closer to your dream, right? And if when they being closer to your dream, that's when they start contributing to their fullest in the whole process, right? So this is what I've seen, that like when I was building my bootstrap company, like I literally hired all people who didn't know even coding. So I hired them, like 4 or 5 people from college, and help them learn coding. So I used to, like, for 2 3 hours, I used to sit with them. I used to make them learn coding, and that's how we started our company, right? And then
I,
they were, yeah.
Yeah, I think you bring up huge points. It's not just about finding the people. You need to build a PR machine around how you're going to be successful, and then you need to speak to them about how you're going to make them successful, and then you need to actually do it. Like, this
Absolutely.
race against time at the beginning is so important. You cannot afford. I still believe that the people that you get at the beginning will not be the people afterwards. You have to turn them around to
Yeah.
get to better and higher quality people, because you're building a unicorn here. You're not building a
Yeah.
family company. If I move it to the same principle, but to investors, because you've not only been a successful entrepreneur, you are also a successful investor. On the same principle, how do you convince the right investors that they should be investing in your company when it's right at the very beginning?
Perfect. So, see, investor. So there are two type of investor. One is the people who are purely looking for financial returns, right? They don't care about, like, if I mean what you are building. Just they want to make money out of it. So if you, for these kind of people, you have to show a real opportunity in a way that they are able to visualize how much money they can make from that, right? And most of the investors fall in this category, right? So if you are able to show them, like, okay, you will put, like, let's say $1 million or $500,000, then in 2 3 years, 5 years, what is the opportunity, what is the upside, they can get out of this opportunity, right? Of course, every investor goes back and do their risk analysis, etc. But I think these kind of investors will mostly go on a conviction of the founder. It's okay, if you are bringing the right data sets, the right facts, the right strategy, the funding strategy in front of them, then they will give you the funding, right? Another kind of investors are the people who wants to genuinely back you in a way that they can become your active investor, right? They want to participate in building the venture with you, right? They want to become part of this success story. They want to help you build product, bring customers, bring next set of investors also. So they become like an operator VC or an operator investor, right? I'm more like an operator investor, wherein I want to get involved. I want to help founders, meet with them on a monthly basis, maybe twice a month or something like that, or maybe thrice a month, whatever required, and then help solve certain problems which otherwise just the money cannot solve, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what happens with especially with the seed stage founders, they even if they get the money, it is not sure that they will be successful, right? Even if they raise large money like 5, 10 million, $30 million, right? It does not guarantee the success. What you need are the people, or the right people on the side, who have a skin in the game, as well as they have the expertise and experience to take you to the path of success, right? So I am this kind of investor wherein more operator VC, more strategic, more involved, and this is not just for making money, but because I want to become part of that success story. So whenever you as a founder approaching any investor, know like what is the kind of personality they are, or what is the kind of investment relationship they want to have with you. Are they just the passive investors? They just want to put money and want to see how much money you can make them out of giving the exit after 2 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And then there are other kind of investors which want to get more involved with you, and you have to choose very very deliberately that even if I'm saying that, okay, I want to work with you, Brian, on your startup, but you really need to choose me as your investor or your active investor
Yeah.
also. That's where your
And let me cut across here, because I just want to make sure everybody's getting these in little pieces so that you can actually take actionable insights. What you're hearing here is that it's an orchestra. As an early stage founder, it may feel like you're fighting against the impossible every single day, but that is because you are trying to create a musical. And that musical requires different acts with different people, but it requires a full orchestra. You need people who are going to play the flute, people who are going to play the violin, people who are going to play the cello, the percussion, and everything else that you have. Because without that, you are not going to build $1 billion company. Like, you may get somebody who's amazing at sales to join your founding team, but that person has never ever built a unicorn before. And if they haven't built a unicorn before, it's like somebody trying to run a race across the desert. Like, it's okay if you're a good runner, but you've never run across a desert in a 20+ mile marathon before. You need somebody on the journey for that. So this whole game is gap filling. Investors, especially institutional investors, like, I'll give you a great example. I was with an investor on Friday who's like an amazing big family office. He's not one of the institutional funds, but we showed him one of our companies. So we love the company. We think the company are amazing and they're going to break through. And he's like, you got to change the name. I don't like the name. The name is not going to appeal to big AI investors in San Francisco. Number two, how are you speaking about solving the problem? We need to speak about it in a much bigger way. Brian, you're too deep in it. Normally you're okay at this, but this time around, too basic. We need to think much bigger on how the messaging looks. And I got out of the meeting like those pieces of the orchestra, that person playing the flute, that without that person, the song or the musical is not going to sound the same. So everybody needs to do that. You may say, Brian, how the hell are we going to do that? You have to outreach to people all day, every day. That's the way it works. You're building this network around you, right, Pranay? Like, you're building the orchestra as you're playing, as the musical has begun. People are like walking in and sitting down in their seats and taking out their violins. And at the same time, you're texting all of the people in the other orchestras to say, I'm short 5 people. Can you come around here within the next 20 minutes? Like, that's what this is, right?
Absolutely. I have a similar analogy. So it's like an Indian wedding. So there are a lot of chores around. Somebody's want to have some kind of dance, and there are different dance moves happening in your business, in your startup, and different kind of music is playing, and everybody is doing their thing. But you being like somebody who's part of that wedding, and you have to drive that wedding in a good way, right? That's the right analogy. Yeah.
Because, and actually, these relationships are as close as the mother of the bride, right? That person needs to be there. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what happened on the roads. It doesn't matter if there was a crash. The only thing that matters is that person has to be there. I know for what Prakash is asking there on number one hire founders should make after hitting social product myth. I know what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you need to have I mean, depending on who you being like with your expertise is needed, right? So if you want to scale, I think as soon as you have the fund, you need to scale it, right? So you need like somebody who can do great marketing, who can help you bring customers. Once you find that PMF, right? You have to just scale it with sales, marketing, business development, automation, all that you need to bring it. So I believe that you need two kind of people in your team, right, which are very critical to any product company, right? Especially the tech product company. One is the product manager, right, who can help you take the product to 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and further. And then you need a product marketing guy, a very strong product marketing guy who has lived that entire journey of taking a product from 0 to 100, right? If you are able to bring these two people on your side in any way, right, then you can solve anything in the SaaS or tech or whatever you are building, right? But these two people have to have the same kind of passion for the thing that you're building, right, and the passion to solve the problem, right? Is if I want to be like more specific, they want to be like passionate about that problem that you're solving, about the users uh, they want to really focus on. So I think
Yeah.
this is what my take is.
I like your answer better than my answer. I was going to say sales, but I think you bring up such an important point, which is that look. And there's another question which is going to come up in a second. I'll actually throw it up there,
Yeah.
which is all about traction versus narrative. The objective of a founder is to be able to find your Horizon 3 product fit as quickly as possible. That's your job, right? Any founders who believe that that thing that comes out in the market, first of all, is your product, that's not your product. Product market fit is a very arrogant term that was put together by Silicon Valley for people to feel that they can start to build a growth loop. But it's
Yeah.
not a unicorn, right?
Yeah.
What it is it's the thing that allows you to build a relationship with your future customers that will tell you what the really huge product is, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're learning as much as you can from a customer with, I call it a Trojan horse that gets you into the market, right? Every investor cares about your traction. That's what they care about today. If you're a really famous founder and you've exited 4 companies, great. They care about your narrative. I'm guessing if you're that person, you're not listening to this particular episode right here. So for you and us and every other normal person, build a great product. Like exactly what Pranay just said there. Make sure that your product is a product that you're continually working on. So your product manager is just getting better and better and better, and your marketing person is just building all of the great hype around that product so that you can build the relationships to get it stronger. But today, look, you need a good narrative to get into a room with someone. People got to like you and they got to like what you're saying. But at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road, that's what everybody cares about. How quickly you're going to grow, how much money does it cost you to be able to do that growth, and what is the probability of you being able to increase that to 100,000, a million, 5 million, 10 million, $30 million a month. Same for you? Or
Absolutely. I think I agree with that. I think both narrative and traction are important. Again, it depends on at what stage you are, to whom you are talking. Are you and by the way, man, there is a misconception that there are specific kind of investors only, right? There are different kind of investors. Your first customer can be your investors also, right? So if you're going and with a great product to your first customer, they are your first, technically your first investor if they are
they are.
the
Yeah.
product.
You and I are like so aligned in everything we think. When I saw that question, it was like the same for me. It's like, man, you've already turned them into investors. The moment that they bought your product, sorry, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is the best kind of investor because you are not diluting any equity in that, right? So you don't have to give equity to your customers. So I believe that, and if you are building something which is like a B2C or of that nature, I think that traction building is very easy now, right? A lot of founders struggle with showing traction, but I would say that you need to find smart ways to show traction. Traction is not just revenue or anything like that. Like WhatsApp didn't have any revenue, right? They had a lot of users. so so I would say that a lot of product companies try to monetize products too early, right? That is one challenge that I've seen the founders. They try to showcase, and they want to showcase like a very small revenue, which doesn't make any sense. Rather than, they should have strategies to bring sort of free users, or maybe a community around what you are building, what you are solving, maybe creating a knowledge community around that problem, and then have those people start using some beta features of your application, right? So and you can find smarter ways to, bring those AWS credits and Google credits. You can be part of any accelerator, or maybe take some grants around something, or maybe just raise a friends and family round to do that, right? Maybe like 10,000, 20,000, $50,000 kind of friends and family round to start with, and build those traction smartly, like maybe 1,000 free users or 5,000 free users on the platform. They're trying to do something, and then show that sort of traction to the seed investor, saying, okay, I have 2,000 people who might be interested in the product, right? They keep querying about this thing on my platform. They're trying to see that how it can solve their problem, and they are interested in getting this product in place, right? And even if they are able to show this kind of conversation, this narrative, so this narrative is backed by traction around the community that you have built, then that investor will be interested in talking to you, and then you can share your insights about what they are liking, what these 1,000 users are trying to do on your platform, and what are the features they are using, and what you are solving for them, things like that. So conversation can go one step ahead, and you can talk more about that. So I think narrative has to backed by a smart traction in place, right? The traction,
Okay.
if you are B2B enterprise, it can be 4 or 5 customers. If you are B2C SaaS or anything like that, it can be 500,000 users around that community.
Yeah, but it makes sense in many forms. Okay, I want to hit the last question, and then I want to, and then I just want to finish off with like how folks can contact you. So I like this. I'll answer this one first, since that you've got all the good
Yeah.
answers before. I think in many cases, for venture backable companies, poorer people care more about maintaining culture. And when I talk about rich, I don't mean necessarily wealth. I mean like how your mind is for building a unicorn. And great venture backable founders care more about how you make everybody around you very wealthy, because nobody's joining it. Like your reason and your purpose is different from your culture. Culture in many ways is, do I hug people in the morning? Do we have nice meetings? Do we have stand-up meetings? Who fucking cares? The only thing anybody cares about is raising your next round and not running out of money. Like, don't do bad to people. That's it. Just have that rule. Don't do bad to people. But other than that, your job as a founder is to scale $100 million valuation plus as quickly as possible. That's your job. And as long as you're very clear with people that you're going to make them extremely wealthy in a short period of time, then you're okay. When you're running a family business, yeah, focus on culture, focus on community, focus on hugging each other as you come in the morning. But you're building a venture backable business. You're building a business where you owe investors money, you owe your co-founders money, you owe your staff money, and you owe customers a product which is going to change the world. That's what you focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that makes sense. And I think the culture is like a top to bottom thing, right? The culture, if you're talking about certain moral values, certain integrity, and all those business ethics, I think any person in the business has to have some level of those values. And that becomes a default culture of the company. So if I'm a founder, I have some ethics and the way of working with people and treating people. I think that will become a sort of a default culture, right? So, but as Brian said, that nobody really cares about that. If you want, if you can show them that it is going to make them wealthy, make them, fulfill their dreams, and why, and it's, if their why is clear with you, I think that becomes your culture, right?
Yeah.
They all putting their efforts to solve their personal goals, and then at the same time coming together with for a combined goal to create wealth. I think that's I would just like to add what Brian said.
all strategy. And look, because circumstances will change you. COVID changes you in the office, you outside the office. Do
Yeah.
you have fuzzball machines? Do you have like ping pong tables? Do you have nothing? Do you make people work all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, or never? Like all these things will adapt depending on what the circumstantial challenges that you have to overcome. But the most important thing, you have a contract with everybody around you, and that is to build a company which is worth a minimum of $100 million and north of that. That's your contract. The quicker you get people there, the more people will love you. Okay, I would like you to finish, please, sir, with answering this question, but then backing it into how people can contact you as well. And also, maybe, Kishla, you can put that up, and you can just make sure that you get Pranay's details up on the screen. But yeah, what are the things? One of the things that you wish you had done differently, and then just finish out with how people can maybe contact you.
Yeah, it's when I look back in my journey, I think I would have created a advisory board or in a company in a better way. Like I didn't have any advisory board, honestly. So I think I would have got an advisory board on my company, which could have helped me scale faster without a lot of stress. Because being a solo founder and alone in that journey, it puts on a lot of stress on you, right? And I think that thing I would have done in a better way, right? So today whenever I meet young founders, I tell them that don't just go in this entire journey alone. You need to bring the right people who can help you take some of your stress. That's the thing. Yeah.
Great comment. And how can people contact you?
Sorry.
And how can people contact you?
You can connect me on my LinkedIn, or you can just email me at pranay@backer.com. That's my default email now. So you can ping me anytime if you have any questions. And, I would love to help you strategize your fundraising, etc. So, yeah, always available for founders to, help them in their journey.
And just follow news about us, because we together are going to be doing incredible things in India.
Absolutely.
Watch what comes next. When we talk about the very beginning, it was all about make sure you have the right team members, partners, everything else in place. That is why I choose this man. And so to be continued, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for sharing all of your expertise and your knowledge and your greatness with all of the folks here. I'll be seeing you very, very soon in India. Everybody on the call, if you don't have the right co-founders, you don't have the right people, you don't have the right advisors, you don't have the right investors, start outreaching today. Push hard to bring those people in. That is how you build a unicorn. And with that, we shall end.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure. It's always been pleasure talking